Hello, good morning to everyone. I want to welcome you to our first membership meeting. And I am excited for those of you who are going to be listening to this after the fact. If I haven't met you yet, I'm just so excited that you're in this space. I know it means a lot to give your energy to a platform. I have been a part of coaching groups. I've been a part of memberships. And to decide to put your energy towards something like this, I applaud you. And it means a lot to me because it means that you are a leader and you're wanting to change this community and be a part of the change that is happening in this community. And that's huge. And so I'm just really excited to have you here. And I have to say, I have two dogs and a cat, and they're always running around like causing chaos. So I'm sorry if you hear the chaos of my home. And I don't think today's meeting is going to be super long, but I wanted to introduce to you a couple of the themes that we are going to be talking about inside the collective this month. And then we're also going to be going over our new membership options. And then also our upcoming event that's next week already. So let's dive in. So today I had been reaching out to a lot of you as you were joining and asking if you were looking for anything in particular. And it was kind of nice because a handful of you mentioned a few things that I kind of already had in my mind. So our company, the Mina Company, owns the Mina Collective, and we are founders of the collective. But we are a marketing agency. And so in the back of my mind, I know you're all experts at what you do, and you just can't turn that expert button off whenever you want to. And so in my mind, whenever I think about who I'm talking to, I'm like, man, what I want to say is I want to talk about what I am talking to my clients about right now, because we are in a very unique situation with how this year has gone, with where we're at with COVID coming back. And then also we are about to we're going into September. And in my mind, whenever we're in September, I'm like, damn, it might as well be October. Like might as well be Thanksgiving, and it might as well be Christmas. It's all coming, and it's coming very soon. And so with our clients right now, we are really trying to plan ahead. And that's what I want to talk about today, is planning ahead, because I know between COVID, between being a mama and having kids in school and having kids home for a winter break and owning a business, or being in charge of maybe like managing a team inside of your company, whatever it is, whatever your role is, the holiday season is a lot, right? Like it's a lot. And so we want to kind of go back to some of the core teachings that when we sit down with clients, when we do coaching sessions, these are some of the first things that when somebody comes to us and we say, have you ever planned out your marketing calendar? Some of them say yes. Others just look at us like, you do that? How do you do that? And you expect me to do that? And so that is what I want to dive into today. So we have a few things on our agenda. We are going to talk about how to plan a marketing calendar, and I'm actually going to give you a template for you to start planning your Q4. And then we're going to talk about kind of some fun things. So Juliana works for us, and she recently posted in our group, she asked who was an introvert versus who was an extrovert. And I am somebody, the reason why we started the Mina Company was because I have always operated very differently with clients. I truly believe in meeting people where they are at in their business, but also who they are as like a person and their personality. And though there's a lot of different ways to gauge somebody's personality, someday we will definitely be doing teachings on Enneagram, like that type of things. But just to like get our feet wet, you can plan depending on if you're an introvert or an extrovert. It really does dictate how you should plan your marketing and your tactics from your week to week and day to day. So we're going to talk about that today. So a couple of different things are going on. So the first and foremost, I want to talk about just nitty gritty planning your calendar. And I encourage you to do that this month, because before we know it, it's going to be Halloween, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas happens like the next day, right? Like all these things happen. And so Doing this in September, I think is just it's the best thing possible, because guess what? During Q4, you're also going to start planning for next year. So I love walking into Q4 having a thorough plan that is already set up for you. And so how do you do that? Right? I'm going to be Vanna White in a few minutes and it's going to be great. But how you do that is you identify your customers, who your customers are. And if you've never done this before, it's okay. I want you to just start with one customer and I want you to name them. So I name our customers and I basically create a list and I say, okay, this one is Stephanie. We're just going to call her Steph. So Stephanie, she is the ideal coaching client. We do one-off services for her, one-off services. And then maybe I'm going to have like a Tiffany, right? Tiffany comes down here. She's somebody who needs all of the things. She needs a full marketing plan. So this is just an example for us. But I'm sure that you can sit down and say, okay, these are the different customers that I have. And this is what they're looking for. And you can almost say like, okay, this is where Stephanie's at now, but if I help her for a couple of years, her business is going to grow and I'm going to get her to the next product in my product suite, right? So I want you to have who these customers are. And then here's the next step. This is how you define what content needs to be created. I want you to identify what that customer's pain point is. What do they struggle with? And I want you to use what their voice. I want you to write down things when you are talking to this type of client or customer or whatever. What are the actual words that they use when they are coming to you and they're explaining what they need, right? And this all depends on the type of product that you have. Depends on if you sell a service or goods, but still, when someone comes to you, they typically are looking for something. And there is certain vocabulary words that they are using, right? So we have a very diverse clientele. So some of our clients are actually retailers. So they sell products, but they also sell a service that goes hand in hand. So they'll help somebody, let's just say lighting for your home, right? So they'll sell you the lights, but they're also working with you to make sure that the lights match your home. So they have this level of service that goes with this. And that's awesome, right? Like, but I know that they work with certain customers that are newbies. They've only ever bought lightings off of Amazon. They didn't know that you could look at room temps and you could look at advanced technology with lighting, or they didn't realize that you could do LEDs. Like there's a whole lot of things there, right? So I want you to break down who this customer is and what their pain points are in their own words. So here's the thing. What I like to do is I like to take advantage of what time of year it is. So that's first and foremost. So we're planning Q4 right now. We're going into the holidays and you really need to understand and think about what are your customers' pain points going into the holidays. So are you trying to do massive sales? Are you trying to get rid of inventory? Awesome. Great. Okay, so if you are a retailer and you sell clothes, you're locally owned, maybe you're a female-owned business, and you know that we all know that the last 2 years for small businesses have been some of the hardest, right? And here we are going into the holiday season where we are all buying gifts for our family and our loved ones. And you want, let's just say, we're going to go run with Stephanie. We know that Stephanie loves to support local, right? She loves it. And Stephanie loves to support local so much, but there's a lot of local options. And so how do you get Stephanie's attention? Well, you need to tell your own personal local story. You need to maybe be working with other local businesses. So I know last year it was a really good example. I think it was, I might butcher this, the Chamber of Commerce, I think, put together like a landing page for just local businesses to be able to deliver goods to customers that were worried about COVID. Brilliant. It was wonderful, right? I wish they would have marketed it more so that more people heard about it. But things like that allow you to capture the attention of Stephanie who loves to support local. You can tell your story and you can help other locally owned businesses at the same time. Like I'm just trying to pull examples for you, but this all comes back to who your ideal customer is and what is she looking for. So when we identify customer types, we actually drill down to details. So for me, I'm going to go back to me now and the Mina company. So for our ideal customer, so for Stephanie, who she is probably new to business. That's who this ideal person is. She's new to business. She's done a whole lot of things herself. She's kind of guessed on a lot of it, but she is just getting it done. She's the perfect do-it-yourselfer. And there is nothing wrong with that, by the way, if you are one of those people. But she is ideal for coaching. And she is ideal for one-off services. So we might help her to set up her social media, or we might do a website audit and just tell her like, here are the areas that we think you could improve, or here is an updated logo that matches your branding. Here are examples for social media of how to carry out your branding. That's what Stephanie is to us, right? So going into the holiday season, for me, I'm thinking about, what is Stephanie worried about right now? What thoughts are going through her head? I bet Stephanie's pretty overwhelmed. I bet she's overwhelmed with family. Maybe she's going to have a lot of family visiting in her home. She's overwhelmed. Her small business is probably going off on the wayside while she focuses on family. But here's the thing, if I can convince her that it's important to focus on her business, especially going into the next year, so maybe not trying to capture her attention for the here and now, but saying like, going into the next year, let's put together a tactical plan that you can carry out the moment Christmas is over. That might capture her attention. So I want you to brainstorm, what are her pain points? How do you talk to her? And then make it timely for the season that we're about to go into. Okay. Then I want you to highlight 2 or 3 of those that really feel like that's where we're going with this. And that feels like you could talk about this in your sleep, right? Like those are the things that I want you to run with, the things that you feel so confident with that you could do it at a drop of a hat. You don't need notes. You don't need like a well thought out presentation. You can just go with it. So I want you to have those. And then we're going to start putting them into content buckets. So I'm going to share my screen real fast. Desktop 1. Hopefully you can see this. Open system preferences to grant. Oh, hang on, guys. This could be interesting. I'll not be able to record the content until it is quit. You can choose to quit Zoom. Ah, dang it. Guys, I was not prepared for this. We're going to do later. Okay. Pause, stop recording. Share screen. I'm going to try this one more time. Maybe it will. Who knows? Oh, good. Okay, it's going to work. I hope it's working. Okay, so this is an actual, so I took off, you might be, if you know her, you might be able to figure this out, but I took off the name of this business owner because we actually helped to plan her I think it was Q1 calendar. Yeah. So here is where, once you've identified that customer, here is where you put in those themes, right? Here are your themes. And you could line it out. So I'm like a little bit OCD. I'm like, I just want one per month so that I know what's going on every month. But if you have something very big that's going on, it's okay to have it take up your entire quarter or have it take up 2 months. But you're going to put in your promotions here. So these are just examples of her top promotions. And then I want you to put in revenue expectations, because if you don't know what revenue you're shooting for these promotions, you are just shooting yourself in the foot. You're just shooting an arrow off into space and hoping that it just returns what you want it to return. You need to have a plan and how you want to break that out. And so again, this could be a monthly revenue goal, or it could just be a promotion goal. So if your promotion is going to last a full quarter, maybe that is just the revenue that you have in mind for that promotion. So there's different ways to cut this pie. And then you have your promotional launch date. So this is when you actually want these promotions to launch. And we're going to back step into this and like add the tasks that it takes to get there. But that is the first place to start. And then you want your goals. So you have your financial goals, and then I want your tactical goals. So this could be, maybe it is all around revenue, but this could equal like, I want to add 5 clients to my roster, or I want to sell this many packages. I don't know. It could be a specific goal, and, or it could just be revenue expectations. And then any additional deadlines. So maybe there is like a drop dead date, like there's your promotional launch date, and then there's the end where you actually outline the day that it's over. And then I want you to go through and actually identify how much money you actually want to spend in marketing. And this is all encompassing. So this is one of the biggest things that I find business owners, especially new to the game, are confused about. And they aren't sure how much they should be spending in their marketing, which is understandable. So what the quote unquote rule is, and of course, this is something that financial planners throw out there, is that your marketing budget should be between 5 and 10% of your annual business revenue. Okay. So pause there. You can do those calculations. I think 10% that is going out with guns blazing. That's pretty intense. That means you got some money and you are ready to really get your business moving. A lot of business owners that I talk to stay within 5 and 8%. Okay. And that is for the year. So then you have to split it up by quarter. Or if you just have one huge launch, where that falls. So if you spend the majority of your money in Q1 because you have this huge launch, where does that put your Q4? How much do you want to spend here? And so understanding how much you want to spend on everything. So this includes your Zoom membership, because that is marketing. This includes your Flowdesk or your MailChimp, your email platform that you pay for. This includes all of the nitty-gritty things in addition to like Facebook and Instagram advertising or paying someone to help you with your marketing. It includes everything. So it's not just like above and beyond. And then I want you to highlight what are your primary marketing outlets. And so in this calendar, you can drop down and you can choose these things, which is very helpful. But what are those primary outlets? And you may not know. You may need to ask in our, what are those called? Our monthly or every other week, we do those digital groups. The word's escaping me, guys. But we do those digital check-ins where you can just jump online and you can ask somebody from our team what you should be doing. And I hope you utilize those. We will definitely be doing those in September. But that is the perfect place to pop in and like ask our 2 cents as to what your primary marketing outlet should be. Okay, so here's the kicker. Here's the next thing. I want you to look at your personal calendar. Like I want you to look at, when is family arriving? What, like, put in the holidays that you and your family celebrate. Put in the intention, like if you have an anniversary or a birthday, I want you to put those things in this calendar before you start planning anything else. Okay. Put those in here. And then I want you to take the deadlines that you have put on this side and actually add them here. And I want you to make sure that none of your personal dates are in conflict with your deadlines, because it is so easy to do this. It is so easy to think of your business or your marketing calendar separate from your own personal life. And this also counts for people who are not just business owners. If you are just in charge of somebody's marketing calendar or promotional schedule at your job, you still have to make sure that you can be present and show up for those whenever the time comes. So put in your personal dates, put in your company's personal dates. Maybe your boss needs to have their personal dates so that they can be present at XYZ events. Put in all of those things right alongside your promotional deadlines and dates there. Okay, so you'll plug those in and you will do that. We will switch this over to Q4, but you will plug that in to the month. And then your step 3 is this lovely, this is my favorite. This is where the rubber hits the road. So you have your goals, you have your objectives, you have the times that you know that you need to be present for launch, whatever it is. And then I want you to come over here and actually put in those buckets. So this is where it all comes back around. Your primary marketing outlets. I want you to take these main categories, whatever they end up being. And again, there's a lot of them. So we're talking PR, influencers, website, digital advertising, email. And I want you to bring those over and actually make categories over here. So I went through and just added in what made the most sense for this particular client, but you take this template and you run with it. What I like to do is break social media down by my top 3 topics. And so I will come over and I will say, okay, this is my plan for January. This is my big goal for January. Now, how do I break that down into smaller topics? And how do we do that? We're going to go back to the beginning. So in the beginning, I was saying, this is how you want to have your identified customer, and you want to have her pain points, right? So these are the products that are going to support that customer. And then you have her pain points in her voice, the pain points as she phrased them, right? So those are your topics. So don't get stuck. I've seen clients just sit in front of their computer and they're like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to break down this content. Your client's already doing it for you. Your customer's already doing it for you. So take their pain points against that topic or whatever promotion that is going on, and those that run with that for social media. And what I have found is that business owners, marketing managers, people who are helping businesses, once you think about it just purely as helping your customer, all of the emotional, like I find it a lot where people are always second guessing, am I talking about the right thing? I don't really know. I don't feel comfortable in this space. But when you take all of that aside and you just look, and whenever you look at your phone and you're just thinking of Stephanie here and how she needs your help, all of a sudden, because you are helping someone, you find your voice. And that is what you need to do for social media. That's the big secret, is stop thinking about all of the things that are getting in the way, all of your insecurities, because please, no, I have them too. All of us have insecurities around social media, unless you are a seasoned pro and you've been doing this for a while. We all started having insecurities. I want you to think about that client that you are talking to and what she needs and what her pain points are for the month. And that's what you create your calendar around. So you jump into social media, do that. And this is just highlighting what your focus is. So it could be a product, it could be a service here. So you can swap that out. And then if you want to do paid social, maybe that is what your plan is for that given month. You can actually outline what those ads look like. And maybe you're just taking some of those topics and you're just promoting those posts. It could be as simple as that, just to make sure maybe for $20 a month that you are getting a little bit further reach than you would on average. This is what a couple of people had actually asked questions about, was influencers and PR. So this is what I do. So I figure out what my content is for the month. I figure out what my social media content is going to be. And that's why planning a quarter in advance is very helpful, because then so I'm a kind of a nerd, because I love following influencers. And whenever I find influencers that I really love, I just save their posts into a folder on Instagram. So you can save them to a collections folder. And whenever I am planning a client social media or our social media, I will actually go back to that folder later and say, okay, this is the content for the month. Who could I work with? Who's already talking about these things? Or I'm going to go back to that retail example that I had before. So I just think of a small retailer in Fort Collins or Loveland or whatever. And maybe you just sell beautiful women's boutique clothes, right? When I am thinking of content, I'm like, okay, so here's my bucket for the month. Okay, so what influencers would probably enjoy my clothes or enjoy this promotion and also are in line with this theme that I have for this month? So maybe you're talking about, I don't know, I'm just throwing ideas out here, but maybe you're talking about women's fitness for whatever reason. Maybe you just got a new line of fitness gear and you're talking about women's fitness. So why don't you reach out to a handful of influencers that actually work with other women? Maybe they are a fitness coach. Those types of ideas come from these content buckets that you are working on over here, right? So I know that it can almost feel daunting and there's like a wall when it comes to influencers because you're like, there's so many of them. Why would they want to work with me? How do I even start this relationship? But that's the thing is you just start saving the influencers that you feel like you are really connected to that makes sense for your business. And then as you're planning these calendars, I don't even reach out to the influencers. I just start writing their names in here. And I just say, this is the month that I want to focus on XYZ influencer. And then once I've planned out my month, then I reach out and say, like, I would love to make this connection. I feel like our brands are really in alignment for XYZ reasons. And I take it from there. And maybe it works out and maybe it doesn't, but you know the types of influencers that you're looking for each of those categories. So this is something that when you start saving those folders, this is something that you could hand off to people who work for you. If you do have somebody that works for you, like a VA or an online business manager, you can start having them reach out and make those connections with influencers. And you don't want to be salesy. It's just talking person to person, like just saying, hey, this is what I'm working on. I love supporting local businesses. I feel like you are wonderful for XYZ reasons. It's that genuine conversation starter. So I know a lot of you, that's why I wanted to really highlight that, spent a lot of time on that when you were writing to me and talking about what you were looking for. So hopefully that helps to kind of like burst that bubble and make it seem a little bit more approachable and not so just out there and just hard to capture. Then there's events. So if you wanted to plan a fun launch event, whatever that looks like, you could plug those in here. And then you have options for emails. If you wanted to do a newsletter for the month with that topic, and what I do is I come in here and I go, I'm going to just write test. I come in here and I just go, perfect. I'm going to do an ad set about this. I'm going to reach out to some influencers about this. I might have an event about this. Do you see how easy this is now? So you're not having to recreate the wheel for every category. You are coming in and you are literally saying, this is my topic for the month. And oh, by the way, I'm also going to reach out to some other businesses and collaborate around this topic. And maybe you have an event. Okay, I'm just going to run with that retail example where about like the workout fitness. So you're a retailer, you sell workout clothes. Who knows? You're reaching out to influencers that are coaches. Wonderful. Okay, I'm also going to reach out to a few business owners that I know that also have this niche. And maybe we can do a quick little event, like a pop-up yoga event. And I put my clothes outside during the event. Who knows? This is where you can just visually see that your topics from the step one planning, you're able to come over here and just carry them out throughout the month or months, right? And so I encourage you to take this step by step. And maybe some of these areas don't make sense for you. So you just genuinely come in here and you just delete them. And that's okay too. Maybe you're not in a point in your business where you can afford paid social media, or you may not have the time to reach out to influencers. That's okay. It's totally fine. I want you to do what feels best for you. And that is where I wanted to kind of swerve into that idea of really making sure that you plan your marketing calendar around who you are as a person. So if you are the person that is carrying out these tasks and these goals, I want you to think about what your energy levels are. Right? Like it's wonderful to have a well planned out content calendar. It's amazing, right? Like to take this and then go plan out your social media posts and have it all done for September. Wonderful. Here's the thing that always trips up everybody. If your energy levels cannot support that content calendar, then it's just a beautiful content calendar. If you can't support it with your own energy, then there was no point in creating it. And so I hope you've made it this far in this talk today, because this is probably one of the most important parts, is I want you to plan your content calendar around your energy levels. And we are going to have speakers that come in because we're all women here. and we're going to talk about your monthly cycle. And if you don't know much about this, I encourage you to get the book In the Flow. I have it somewhere around here, but I encourage you to purchase that book and to read it. Read the whole thing. I read it in like a matter of 2 days because I was just so fascinated, and I could not believe when I read it, I was 31. I could not believe it took me 31 years to understand my body. 31 years. And I hope that you understand it. I hope you know everything that I'm saying and you're just like, yep, I'm with you. But if you don't, please go read that book. Basically, the female cycle is broken out into 4 different weeks. And every week you have strengths, and every week you have stuff that you're probably battling with. And I have to bring this up because it does trickle into marketing, because we ourselves have to show up in our marketing. So if you are showing up in social media, if you are writing content for your emails, if you are editing your website, even creating this calendar, you have to have the right energy levels, the right creativity levels to be able to support it. So this is where I go back to introvert versus extroverted, because that does affect you every week, no matter what. I am an introvert. So I am an introvert, but I do have extroverted tendencies. And there are those people that are in between. A lot of us are actually in between. I love time alone, and I have to have time alone in order to process, in order to fill my cup back up. But when I'm on, I love being around people. I love it. Like, I love this. And I know there's a lot of you that are like that. And so I really wanted to speak to my introverts for a minute, because we did a poll, I think about a week ago, and we started talking about introverted versus extroverted. And there was a lot of you. And I feel like oftentimes introverts are so good at planning. We're like, we've got this content calendar down. I've got it. Like, it's done and it's beautiful. And then when the time actually comes to post for social media, we're just like, oh, shoot, I don't have the energy today. I'm not showing up. Like, either you bail or you do show up and you just don't feel like you did a good enough job. So here is the thing for my introverts. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to understand your cycle. And this is so random, like so strange to say, but I want you to understand the week that you are ovulating. For my introverts, I mean extroverts too, but especially for my introverts, that is the week that you just have an extra amount of energy. You are on it. Like, everyone that you are talking to, you're vibing with, they're like, wow, that person, like, she was amazing. Like, she really made an impression on me. That is the week that you are naturally doing that. And I want you to batch your social media and all the content that week. I want you to change your shirt, do all the reels. I want you to write all of that content, because you have this natural way about you that is about connecting. And so if you struggle with posting to social media, there are some extroverted people, and I am so jealous of them, guys. Like, I am so jealous of the extroverts. So if this is you, kudos to you. I wish I was more like you, but I'm not. And I've had to figure this out on my own. Extroverted people are super good at being able to come up with content on the spot. And it's just because they're like, they vibe with that. Like, they're always, they want to be surrounded by people. And I know that there are times in the month where even my extroverts get tired and they don't want to show up and they're run down. And so that is why I'm telling you, you need to batch your content, and you need to batch it around the time of the month that you naturally have more energy. And so extroverts, I need you to figure out when you're ovulating. So there's a lot to explain here, and we will dive back into this, but you will have your week of menstrual cycle. Then you will dive into follicular for about a week. And then your ovulation cycle starts right after that. And you are in that for about a week or so. It's like give or take. Everyone's a little bit different. Once you start tracking, you can kind of understand where you're at. But that is prime time to actually do a lot of your marketing. So during that time period, slot your calendar. Like, this is the time you need to be recording all of your reels. If you find that you're more excited to write, I know I do. I feel like I can connect better with words, both written as well as spoken. during this time period. So that is when I batch my content. That's when I write the newsletters. That's when I write the social media calendar. So I hope that you're able to go from here and create the calendar, the beautiful content calendar, but then also actually put it into your schedule. This is when I'm going to be creating content, because this is when my body has the most energy to be able to execute this beautiful plan that we're making right now. Okay, so I hope that is helpful. If you have more questions, please ask them. Mighty Networks is amazing. So this platform that we are on for the Mina Collective is called Mighty Networks. And what I love about it is I get pinged every single time you guys comment. So, and we have some amazing experts in this group. I don't want to like call them out by name, but we have some amazing experts in this group that can help support women in figuring out their natural cycle, talking about cycle syncing. I am not the expert in here. I have done a whole lot of research. I've paid a lot of money to figure this stuff out. And I have been able to understand how my body operates, and then also turn around and say, oh my gosh, this is how it can actually help my marketing, which is so, so cool. Oh, Rebecca, sorry, I wasn't looking at comments. Do you feel like having more than 3 topics is too many? It depends. It depends on what level of big topics we're talking about. I think it is really helpful and streamlined for your mind as you're planning to have 1 topic per month. And maybe it's like they feed off of one another. Like, because you're talking about this, it just makes sense to naturally talk about something else. Why don't we talk about this in the chats? Or if you like actually in Mighty Networks, because I feel like this is a good topic to just talk about with the group. And I can even come back and talk more about that one later. But I think I need to have like a better idea. You might have to actually throw examples to me and we can talk through that. And then this was so helpful. Where do we access the guide you are using? I'm going to be sharing this. So I will include this once this actually like posts. I don't know the right words here, but like once it posts to the group, I will be sharing this. Okay, so where I'm going next is I wanted to, again, bring it back to membership and talk about what the collective is doing, because honestly, this has been the month of learning. If I'm being completely honest, this has been the month of learning. So we really wanted to start this space because I knew we needed it. I knew our community needed it. And then I just wanted to listen to you, which I think is honestly probably the best thing to do when you are starting a membership, is to just listen to your membership base. And when I listened to you, it really became more about this theme of leadership. And I think it was kind of always there, but now I'm speaking more into this because I am finding that no matter who you are, if you own a business or if you're just a business professional and you're trying to accelerate your career, we're all looking to lead one another, right? Like we're looking to lead our team, we're looking to work into leadership. And I have found that this was one of the most profound things that was missing in my working education as a business professional. I spent 12 years working in the business world, both at corporate companies as well as small locally owned businesses, nonprofits, before going out on my own. And no one nowhere taught me how to lead. I was just telling a friend last night that I've always kind of been one of these overachiever types. And I don't know if you can if you feel me on that, but I've always kind of been one of those types. And right after college, in my first job, within 6 months, I was managing a team of men. I was managing a team of videographers. And I had no clue what I was doing, and nor did anyone teach me. They were just like, here you go. Good luck to you. And here's the thing about leadership is in order to lead, you have to know who you are. And you have to be able to coach somebody else on who they are. And so I feel like fundamentally what I was hearing from this group was either you're still trying to figure that out, which is awesome. We've all been there. Like I spent 10 years there. Like I get it. You're still trying to figure it out, or you figured it out, but now you just like don't know how to turn around and like teach somebody else what you figured out, right? And there's a lot of pieces to this. So we are starting with different membership levels based upon where you are. We are going to be keeping this group free for the future. We are not going to be charging for this particular group. But here is the fun part, is we are creating paywalls for more additional content. And so you will still have access to these monthly membership meetings and this group to collaborate and talk to other women. But we are actually going to be adding additional levels for you. And the first one includes our monthly events, which I know you all have heard a lot about, but I'm really excited about it. So our monthly events will always range from about $35 to about $50, depending on the experience that we are hosting. And with that first membership level, it's $30 a month, and those events are just included. So you can attend whenever, wherever, and that is just included in your membership. So I think it's just kind of a fun way to save a little bit of money, but also know that you have access to extra webinars, extra presentations, extra downloadable PDFs, and those types of things. Our whole library of content will be available to you. And then the next level is, I think what do we call it? Our Education Plus level. And that one is going to be taking leadership by the reins. This is really where we're going to be sharing a whole lot of our leadership content. We're going to be taking monthly themes and kicking it off actually with personality tests so that you can understand who you are as a person and not just your Enneagram. So Enneagram is so helpful, but I have learned that there's a handful of personality tests that you can take that actually teach you what your flaws are, how you will self-sabotage, and how that translates into business. So Enneagram's awesome because you can learn a lot about yourself. But what I have learned is these tests, you just need like a literally 20 minutes, and you can see all of the flaws that you will take into business. And all of us have them. So don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. I have them. The first time somebody read me my results, I literally was like, that was a shot to the heart. Like, this is terrible. Like, you heard everything that I do wrong. And I know I do it wrong, but I don't tell anybody about this. And so understanding what those are and then taking those to your team and understanding what their faults and also what they do really well is. And I have to tell you, I have been a manager and a leader for a very long time. And it wasn't until I started incorporating these personality tests that I really feel like I actually took my team to the next level. Because I understood them. I understood what they needed. I understood what they were looking for to feel fulfilled. And I also understood what they couldn't offer me. So understanding what my team could not do for me was tremendous. I no longer expected certain areas from them. And I think that's a good thing as a leader. Or in those areas, I asked them to grow. And so I've been giving them like things to read, and I've been giving them recommendations for coaching programs when they needed it. So it's a tremendous place to start. And so coming back to it, that is what our Education Plus offering is all about. Is these will just be online webinars that you can watch at your own leisure. So there's really no one-on-one coaching for me, but it's really a cool way to access those types of videos and those types of workshops on your own schedule. The next level is the core cohort. And this is something I'm going to be honest. It's been a busy week and I still don't have an application form for you, but it's coming. This is going to be our big kahuna offering. So I am excited. We are going to be offering a 6-month program that helps you to grow in leadership. This is I feel like the needed step when you become a manager or become a leader. This is the next step in your education to not only understand who you are, but to be able to build your team and understand who they are and what they need. And then also just giving you that background that is so missing in the workplace, like being able to talk to financials, like being able to read financials and understand them. Things like building up your courage muscle, because when you become a leader, you have to sit in that uncomfortableness sometimes. You have to deal with people who made pretty tremendous mistakes and understand how to lead them. I'm a big fan. I think it's Brene Brown. Pretty sure it is. Who says soft front, hard back, strong back, soft front, strong back. Yes. it wasn't until I learned that level of leadership did I feel like my team truly supported me in every step of the way. Like, because I was able to be vulnerable and real with them, but also make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing in a timely manner, in an effective manner, and what was expected and asked of them. It wasn't until I started leading with that soft front, strong back, that I noticed that my team was there for me. Like, they got me, right? You really grow as a leader when you start leading from the heart and building up your courage muscle and understanding who you are and understanding who they are. And so that is what our cohort is all about. And we will be launching that in November. And it's something that I really do expect. Like, if you work for an employer, you should be going to your employer and asking, like, hey, I'm interested in something like this. Will you fund me to take a part of this program, to be a part of the program? Because that is something that is going to not only help you grow, but tremendously help your business grow. Because when they have better leaders, their business is going to grow. And so it just is this huge, big, churning, amazing, churning ball of amazingness. So that is what is to come. And so I invite you to come to our event next week. I am going to be posting in the group next your code to come for free. So this month we decided I wanted to open it up to everyone that is inside of the Mina Collective. I heard from you that sometimes like budget was an issue. You hadn't quite planned for this type of spend, which I tremendously applaud you. And this month, I wanted all of you, before we kick off these membership levels, to be able to experience the event, to be able to come and experience what it feels like to be surrounded by all of these women that want to grow in leadership, that want to embrace and grow this community. And so that is why we are doing one last, I always feel like Oprah, I'm like, one last freebie for you. Because I want you to be able to experience that before we break off into these membership levels. So we'll be talking about these membership levels again at the event, but I encourage you to come. We learned from last time, we are making it a 2-hour networking event. And it's purely just to grab a glass of wine and to just meet some new women in the community. So I hope you come join us. It's on Thursday, the 9th at 4 p.m. at Remington Flats, which is owned by a local wonderful business woman. And we are going to be in the courtyard. So it will be outside. So if it is raining, bring an umbrella. But I'm just like fingers crossing that it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So I hope to see you there, and I will talk to you all soon. So please add your comments, questions down below in our Mighty Networks chat. And Rebecca, we will come back to your question once I get a little bit more details. So I will talk to y'all soon. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.